こんにちは、皆さん。私たちは日本語を勉強しています。質問があれば、私に聞いてください。Greetings, everyone. Today we're studying Japanese. If you have any questions, then ask me at any time. We're going to continue with immersion with Card Captor Sakura.
ケロちゃん、ね、聞いてる？ねえ、ケロちゃんってば。ケロちゃん！だーなんちゅう声を出すんや！
Nanchu goe dasunya. So Nanchu, chu, I believe that is Kansai Bend as way of saying Toyu. Chu, wait, let's see, Chu. Chigo. No, was that Chigo? Let's see. Please explain the grammar of this. It is Kansai Ben. Nanchu. This is a contraction of Nanteiyu. It means, okay, such as or what kind of is used to modify a noun. In standard Japanese, this would be Nanteiyu or Sona. Koi voice, okay, means dasu means to make or produce. The phrase literally translates to if you are making a voice like that. Nanchu, okay, it's Nanteiyu, okay, or Nantoiyu. Such a what kind of. So to say what, or in other words, what kind, what was said, or what kind of, okay. And he said go away if I heard him correctly. Okay, interesting. He said goe instead of koi. So he had the Daku-ten added. Let's see, why is this pronounced as goe and not koi? Let's see. Nantoiyu. What was said, or to say what, or what kind of. Okay, meaning what kind of. Due to the phonological phenomenon called rendaku, which is particularly common and sometimes distinct in concept and dialect. Okay, the rendaku is a sound change where the initial unvoiced consonant of a non-initial element in a compound word or phrase becomes voiced. Standard rule in compound words. Let's see. Yeah, kogoe, okay, from ko and koi. In your phrase, Koi stands alone grammatically in the phrase Nanchu Koi or Dasun. Yeah, in rapid, casual Kansai Ben speech, the preceding Nanchu acts similar to the first part of a compound. The flow of the speech causes the K of Koi to be voiced into Goe. Fluidity and emphasis. Kansai Ben is characterized by strong vowels and melodic rhythm. The voicing of K to G often makes the word sound softer, more integrated into the preceding phrase, fitting the dialect's specific intonation patterns. Colloquial contractions. In casual speech across Japanese, but notably in Osaka and Kansai, standalone following modifiers often undergo this voicing. It is similar to how Hito, person, becomes Bito in compounds like Kyoto Bito or Kyoto person. Here, Nanchu Koi slides into a Nanchu Goe. Would it have been pronounced as Koi in non-Kansai Ben? The word Koi pronounced Koi when standing alone or following a modifier like Nanchu. Okay. The voicing of Goi is not a standard feature in this context. Standard Nanchu Koi wo dasunda Kansai Nanchu Goi dasun. Yeah, okay, so it is a Kansai Ben thing to choose voicing at that for that particular phrase. The pronunciation of Goi in Kansai phrase is a specific dialect or feature where rendaku or sequential voicing occurs more freely in casual speech phrases, not just in fixed compound words. Rendaku typically applies only within established compound words. Therefore, a speaker from Tokyo or someone speaking strictly standard Japanese would say koi in that phrase. Nanchu goi dasunya to come out with a voice, to come out with what kind of voice? In other words, to come or that kind of a voice. In other words, to complaining about the shouting. So Nanchu goi wo dasunya.
なんちゅう声を出すんや。人がせっかくあの小僧に勝てる方法を考えてやってんのに。あの小僧になんちゅう声を出すんや。人がせっかくあの小僧に勝てる方法を考えてやってんのに。声を出すんや。
Hito ga sekkaku. So yeah, with great trouble, with great effort, let's see. Ano kozo. Oh, kozo, youngster brat, or a Buddhist monk. But in this case, he's most definitely not. Young Buddhist monk, but he's most definitely not talking about a young Buddhist monk in this context. Kuzo. 人がせっかく Wait, Ano Kozo. Oh, he might actually be referring to Shaolin in this case, which you have that ambiguity since he is a young Buddhist monk. Oh, so Hito ga sekkaku Ano Kozo ni kateru. Kateru. Isn't that, yeah, continuous state of winning? Ho ho. Way or method. So, kangaete yaten. See, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yaten is from short for yate iru. So thought continuously doing. So thought continuously winning method. So with great effort. Let's see. People, person. It's either from or to. Okay, with great effort, and then from or to that Shaolin continuously. Oh, continuously win method towards Shaolin. In other words, which continuously win method towards. So to be able to continuously win uh against uh Kozo or that kid or Buddhist monk. I'm not exactly sure what he means. So he was thinking, okay, so he was thinking with great effort at a way to always win against uh Shaolin. Why would he have Hito as the noun? Please explain the grammar of. Let's see, even though someone went through all the trouble of thinking of a way to beat that brat. And the no needs a contrast, of course, because, like, she's shouting at him while he was trying to think. After the core structure driving the emotion of the sentence Seikaku plus action plus no ni means Seikaku means with great trouble. Okay. Verb form te yaru. The verb phrase kangaete yaten is a colloquial contraction of kangaete yate iru. So kangaeru to think, kangaete, okay, te yaru The auxiliary verb indicating doing a favor for someone else. Oh, so that's right. So yaru gets used in place of ageru. So in the action or the process of the state remains. So he was in the process of doing a favor, of thinking of something. The use of yaru instead of ageru suggests. Okay. Basically suggests closeness. See, hito ga, someone, or I. Here, hito refers to the speaker, yours truly, in a self-referential, slightly indignant way. So, let's see. Ano kozo for the bread. Okay, target for the victory. Then kozo is a derogatory term used for a young boy. Kateru can win. Oh, this is not a contraction. Yeah, that's right. It would be katsu. Katsu would be kate. That's right. Oh yeah, so this is potential form. That's right. Yeah, because it would be kate. Kateru, not kateru. So yeah, this is potential. Okay. Yeah, continuous is kateru. You see the small su in there. So able to win. Ho ho. Method. Okay. Please explain the use of hito in more detail. Third person referring to self, Japanese, hito. In the sentence hito ga sekkaku, the word hito functions as a first person pronoun, I or me, which is a specific and nuanced usage in Japanese grammar. Literally, hito means person, people, or others. However, in this specific grammatical construction, hito ga, emotion plus effort, it is a humble or self referential way for the speaker to refer to themselves, other people, or someone else. Hito no me, others' eyes, opinions. Contextual meaning here: yours truly, someone like me, or simply I. So if I understand it correctly, they're saying this using hito to refer to yourself like this is like an indirect way of referring to yourself. Using hito instead of pronouns like watashi, boku, or ore adds a specific emotional layer. It creates a slight distance between the speaker and the action and emphasizes that a person, i.e. the speaker, went to great trouble, implying that the listener should recognize the effort regardless of who specifically did it. It sounds like, here I am, a person trying my best. It subtly frames the speaker's effort as a universal human effort that is being disrespected. Anyone else would appreciate this, yet you. Avoidance of directness. In heated or emotional moments, speakers sometimes avoid direct I statements to sound less aggressive, or conversely to sound more pitiful or martyr-like. So watashi ga neutral, I went to the trouble. Ore ga assertive masculine, I went to the trouble, emphasizes the speaker's agency. Hito ga emotional indignant, people like me went to the trouble. So it's basically like saying I, but more in an indirect way, like people like me, as if you're not. It's as if people are giving you help and you're just not accepting it. In this case, trying to make it sound like a general thing that it's being disrespected. So hito ga sekaku ano kozo ni kiteru ho wo kangaete yatten no ni. So people like me or trying to think of a way for you to be able to beat the young Buddhist monk or the brat, however you want to interpret it. So hito ga sekkaku. So people like me are thinking with great effort of a way to be able to beat the young Buddhist monk or brat. Okay, so hito ga sekkaku ano kozo ni kiteru hoho wo kangaete yatten no ni. But, yeah, all that with a but on the end. So data no, gomen ne. So, is that it? Sorry.
の小僧に勝てる方法を考えてやってんのに。え、そうだったの？ごめんね。で、その方法ってたの？ごめんね。で、
Sono ho te. Let's see. Does she say it with one T or two?
そうだったの？ごめんね。で、その方法って
She says it with one. And what we learned last time, that's generally a way of making something sound cuter, though it can also be used in other ways. Hohote or hohote.
たの？ごめんね。で、その方法
Okay, this de in the front, I believe, is sort of like the. What was an example? So, like date or something like that. And so to say that method, or in other words, what is that method? Or what about this method? What about that method? Or in other words, from that, then what about that method? Or in other words, what? Well, then, did you think of anything? Please explain the de in the particle de indicates means or basis. It specifies that the okay. Let's see. In this phrase, the particle de indicates means, method, or basis. It specifies that the topic being introduced, that method, is a tool by which an action is performed or a situation is handled. Essentially, it translates to by that method. Using that way, the structure connects the method de to the topic marker sute, often setting up a question or explanation about a specific approach. What about that method? Oh, okay, interesting. That's de was not being used the way I thought it was. Is this a reversed sentence? Shouldn't the de be at the end? No, the sentence is not reversed. The de is correctly placed at the beginning. In this context, de is functioned as a conjunction, specifically the te form of the copula. Okay, you just said it was something else. The te form of the copula da des, not as a particle indicated in location or means. When used this way, at the start of the phrase, it translates to so, and then, or in that case, okay, yeah. So it was as I thought originally. It's sort of like being used like dot, being yeah, basically being used like the copula da, or let's see, what was another way of putting it? What other types of connectors mean the same thing? Sore de, or in other words, with that, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, sore de would be same, or potentially dakara as well, or dewa, or ja, or ja. Okay. De sono ho ho te?
でその方法って方法忘れてしもた。
Wasurete shimashita. Oh, shimoshita, yeah. Well, I corrected that. Yeah, that's actually from shimashita. So that's the concept and way of saying shimashita, shimoshita. So ended up forgetting, or in other words, I ended up forgetting it. So from wasureru, or to forget, shimao becomes, see, shimao becomes shimo, and then shimo, I think that's what it is, yeah, shimo has the U drop and then ta added. Let's see, wasureru. How does shimata and this phrase become shimota? Instead of Japanese, shimao is shimata, okay. Certain Japanese dialects, such as consonant dialect or specific row accents, the double consonant T sound is softened or shifted to a single T. This phonetic change turns shimata into shimota. Therefore, shimota is a colloquial dialect variant of shimata. Okay, so they dropped the double T, which would be from shimata, which would be shimata, but at the same time they changed the ma to mo. Wasurete shimota.
でその方法って方法忘れてしもた。もう期待して聞いたのに忘れてしもた。もう期待して聞いた
let's see, mo kitashite kita no ni. Expectation, anticipation, hope. So this comes from period, time, date, term, wait. So waiting for a period, in other words, hope or expectation. Kitai. So it's a pseudo verb noun, so it's a meishi. So it was like enough already. I was hoping, and then kita. Let's see. Heard past tense or asked past tense. Oh, maybe it's like I enough already, or I can't believe this. I was hoping, so I asked, but let's see. Please explain the grammar of already no longer. In this context, it often implies the speaker has formed an expectation in the past, which is now being contrasted with a disappointing reality. In other words, you already had an expectation, so it can carry nuance of I already thought or I had already hoped. Kitai shite from kitai suru, meaning to expect, to hope. Okay. Kita, past tense of kiku, meaning to listen or to ask. No ni, conjunction particle used to express unfulfilled expectations, disappointment, or contrast. It translates to roughly even though, or although, or despite the fact. It emphasizes that the result was not what was anticipated, meaning I listened or heard already expecting something good, but in this context, gives it listen, hear, or ask. Listened or heard with the nuance of active listening rather than asked. So kitai shite means expecting with hope. You typically form an expectation before actively listening to someone. Like a song, okay. The structure implies deliberate action. I listened. Okay, but kita is in past tense though. Yes, kita is indeed in past tense, and that's precisely why listened is the correct translation here. In Japanese grammar, past tense form form often indicates a completed action. Listened or so kitai shite expecting, leading to up to an action. This sequence implies you formed an expectation Kitai you perform the action of listening. Now you're looking back at the completed event and you feel disappointed. So I was hoping and I listened, but okay, or I should say that in English. Oh, come on, I was really looking forward to hearing it. But, yeah. Let's see. もう期待してきたのに。もう期待してきたのに。
ほほ忘れてしもた。もう期待して聞いたのに。ほんまに思いついとったのにさ。忘れてしもた。もう期待して聞いたのに。ほんまに忘れてしもた。もう期待して聞いたのに。
ほんまに、思いすとったのに。So, truly, let's see, 思い is to think. And then isn't sui like no, it's from suite ota. So, which contracts to sui tota. So, this is continuous past tense. Oh, omoi is just the noun form of omu. So this is just thought. So the thought was attached. So the thought was truly attached, but well, I had an idea, but so ほんまに思いすとったのに。ほんまに思いすとったのに。
忘れてしもた。もう期待して聞いたのに。ほんまに思いついとったのにさくらのアホ声で忘れてしもたんや。
さくらのアホ声、さくらのアホ声で忘れてしもたんや。So, Sakura's stupid voice was used to make me forget. Or Sakura's idiot voice. Let's see. But Sakura's silly voice made me forget. Aho. Let's see. He does say Aho Goe, right?
ほんまに思いついとったのにさくらのアホ声で期待して聞いたのに。ほんまに思いついとったのにさくらのアホ声で
Yes, Aho Goe, yes. Yeah, Aho by itself is considered a yeah, it's basically a weaker version of Baka in Kansai Ben is considered a noun, which is why this gets changed to goe. Well, that's probably why they translated it as silly voice, because Aho is supposed to be seen as weaker than Baka. So fool, idiot, simpleton. So Sakura no Aho goe de wasurete shimotanya. Or Sakura's silly voice was used to make me forget it. Or I forgot it because of Sakura's silly voice.
期待して聞いたのにほんまに思いついとったのにさくらのアホ声で忘れてしもたんや期待して聞いたのにほんまに思いついとったのにさくらのアホ声で忘れてしもたんやアホ声なんて出してないよ忘れてしもたもう期待して聞いたのにほんまに思いついとったのにさくらのアホ声で忘れてしもたんやアホ声なんて出してないに思いついとったのにさくらのアホ声で忘れてしもたんや
アホ声なんて出してないよ。So, dasu to making something else come out. So she's using it. Okay, and then so is not coming out. So this is continuous negative. So dashitenai is not coming out. Then aho goe nante. So something like a silly voice is not coming out. Another way of saying it in English is I wasn't making any silly noises. Or my voice isn't silly. Or I didn't have a silly voice. It's probably a better translation. Please explain the grammar of this. Aho goe nante dashite nai yo. Aho goe means stupid voice, silly noise, foolish shout. Okay, nante, a particle used here to downplay, dismiss, or generalize the preceding noun. In other words, this case will downplay the silly voice because she's saying it doesn't exist, so she's downplaying it. See, dashite nai, the negative form of dasu, okay? The use of nante minimizes the action, suggesting the speaker is denying doing something, denying basically the silly voice, yeah. Which origin of nante? I think this is the Naruto one. Nante is this. Naro plus tote. So things like silly voice, okay. Naro used for listing, okay. The exclamation one is the nantoiyu. And it's usually used in the front, like nante utsukushi, or how beautiful. Why is the continuous form being used? Why is the continuous form being used? The continuous form in Tenai is used to describe the current state resulting from an action or ongoing situation rather than a single instantaneous event. In Japan, the current state resulting from an action, no, not that, or an ongoing situation. Okay, so she's not just talking about her voice before, she's talking about her voice now as well. So in Japanese, teiru, and it's negative te-inai, okay, covers two main nuances. Okay, progressive action, an action happening right now. Resultant state, a state that continues after an action. Let's see, resultant state. I have not made a sound and thus the state of silence. So I've not made a silly voice and thus no silly voice was made? Progressive action, but in this instance, the speaker is denying that they are currently in a state of having made such a noise. It implies I am not and have not just made a stupid sound. It is a simple negative. If the simple negative desanai were used, it would mean I do not make stupid sounds or silly sounds or voice. Okay, as a general habit or future. As a general habit, or so it'd be if you didn't use the continuous state, it would be talking about general habits or future refusals, which doesn't fit the context of denying a specific recent ongoing occurrence. The form tenai is a casual contraction okay, of inai. Is it really? Interesting. Because inai could imply using the adu verb, while inai implies using the idu verb. I guess you'd have to know which it is. So full form inai. The continuous form was chosen because the speaker is refuting a specific immediate accusation about their current behavior or recent state, not a general fact about their personality. Is this the progressive action use or the resultant state use? Okay. So It is primarily the resultant state use, though with a nuance of ongoing denial. The speaker denies being in the state of having made the sound. Gi.init often translates to have not done. Present perfect negative. The logic is I have not made such a sound, so the state of me making non-silly sounds continues. Contextual fit. Since the accusation is likely you made a stupid noise, the response negates the completion of that action. If it was purely a progressive action, I am not in the process of making sound right now, it would imply the speaker might have made one a second ago but stopped, which is usually not the intended defense. The speaker means no such sound was emitted. Okay, so in the progressive sense, you'd be denying that it was made earlier but stopped, but this is the denial of the resultant state. Okay, use of continuous. So I'm not in the state of having made a silly sound or having used a silly voice. So, aho goe nante dashite nai yo.
期待して聞いたのに。ほんまに思いついとったのにさくらのアホ声で忘れてしもたんや。アホ声なんて出してないよ。いいや、アホ声やった。出してないよ。いいや。
Iya, aho goe yatta. No, you did. Make a silly voice.
違うもん。いい。アホ声で忘れてしもたんや。アホ声なんて出してないよ。いいや、アホ声やった。違うもん。
Oh, different thing. In other words, you're wrong. Chigaomon.
アホ声やった。違うもん。いい。ああ、ワイにはもっと落ち着いて考え事のできる環境が必要やな。ついて考え事のでき
let's see. Why ni wa motto. Let's see. Ochikite. So to fall and to calm, in other words, to calm down. To fall and calm. So that's calm down. Ochikite. Wait, not kite, but no, suku. So suite. Suite. Ochi suite. Why ni wa moto ochi suite kangae koto. So let's see, kangae is noun form of thought, of thinking, so that's a thought. So moto ochi suite, so more calm down. More calm down thought things. So because I am because I have the more calm down thoughts. Okay, no dekiru. So So, because I am able to have more calm down thoughts, and then something. Kankyo, environment surrounding circumstances. So this whole phrase just, I believe, describes the environment, an environment in which I have able to have more calm down thoughts. So hitsuyo, need, yana. So I need an environment in which I'm able to have more calm down thoughts. In other words, I need a environment where I can think in peace. So, why ni wa motto ochi suite kangae koto no dekiru kankyo. Let's see, kankyo is made from ring, circle, loop, boundary. So if you put a ring around a region, so in other words, environment. Okay, so kankyo, and then hitsuyo is made from certain, inevitable, and then need. So if something's certain and it's a need, then it's a hitsuyo, a need. So why ni wa motto ochitsuite kangae koto no dekiru. Okay, kankyo. So why ni wa motto ochitsuite kangae koto no dekiru kankyo ga hitsuyou ya na. So I need an environment where I can think clearly or think calmly.
ワイにはもっと落ち着いて考え事のできる環境が必要やな。さくらに邪魔されん落ち着ける場所が。ワイにはもっと落ち着いて考え事のできる環境が必要やな。さくらに邪魔されん。
Oh, Jama, yes. Secondly, Jama Sarin. So let's see. So Jama is hindrance. Let's see. Then Saseru is as the causative form of suru, so that's to cause a hindrance. So sareru is the causative of suru, so sarenai would be its negative form, so not cause. So not causing an hindrance. So with Sakura, not causing a hindrance, and then ochi sui keru. So able to calm down. Ochi sukeru. So able to calm down place. Basho. So about a place where let's see. Does he say this is 2 sentences?
ワイにはもっと落ち着いて考え事のできる環境が必要やな。さくらに邪魔されん落ち着ける場所が。
Sakura ni jama saren. Hindrance, obstacle, nuisance, disturbance. Yeah, literally made from wicked and demons. So. Let's see. This wouldn't have it, Suru. Yeah, Saseru, yeah. So, Sakura not cause a disturbance. Able to calm down place. So, a place where Sakura cannot cause a disturbance and I'm able to calm down. And then he's going to say something about it, though it's implied that he needs to go to that place. Hence why it's just ga, and then the verb is dropped of like saying whether he needs to go to the place. He's just saying he needs the place, not specifying about going to it because it's sort of understood. So Sakura ni jama saren ochi sukeru basho ga. So made from location, place, and place, tokoro. Let's see, in this sentence, is Sakura ni jama saren supposed to be seen as a descriptor or a separate sentence? Because that's not generally how you add descriptors within a one sentence. Does that modify anything? Modifies basho as expected, but why is it written like that? The phrase functions as a relative clause, meaning a place where I won't be bothered by Sakura. So the full phrase, Sakura ni jama saren ochi sukeru basho ga, translates to a place where I won't be bothered by Sakura and can relax or calm down. It's not a separate, okay. Don't you generally need something for Sakura ni jama saren to be used as a descriptor? Yeah, because you no, you do not need an extra particle like no or not for a verb in its negative form to modify a noun directly. In Japanese grammar, verbs, including their negative forms, can modify nouns directly in what is called relative clause. Okay, verbs include, okay. Modify nouns directly with no particles in between. So, jama sarenai basho, a place that won't be bothered. Okay. Dialect casual, jama saren basho. Okay. Since jama saren is a verb, uh, oh, oh, that's right. Saren is not causative, it's passive. So receive hindrance. Okay, so receive hindrance, and I guess yeah, ni is the source you're receiving it from. Sakura. Okay, that makes more sense. That's right. If it was causative, you'd be causing hindrance to Sakura. So this is receiving. That's right. So Sakura ni jama saren. Yeah, it would be sas. It would be sasen if it was causative. It's saren. How do you know the clause is not modifying the next word instead? You know the clause modifies the next word, the noun, because two strict grammar rules. Verbs cannot end sentences in plain form inside a larger structure. Okay. In Japanese, if a sentence ends in a verb with a plain form verb, the sentence is complete and cannot be followed by another noun like basha without a connector. So if jama saren were to end the sentence, the next word basha would be a dangling with no grammatical. Okay, so jama saren must be connected to the following noun to form a single. The role of the particle ga. The particle ga appears at the very end of the sentence. Okay, ga marks the subject. This means this entire sentence block acts as the subject. Let's see. Translation: the place where won't be bothered by Sakura and can relax. Okay, here basho is the head noun and everything before it describes it. How do you know the clause doesn't modify? Well, let's see. Ochi sukeru or okay, that's it. That's right. It's just one word. Yeah, ochi sukeru. Wait, I should say because it's a verb. You know, Sakura ni jama saren does not modify ochi sukeru because of the part of speech of the second word. Ochi sukeru is a verb, potential form, not a noun. In Japanese grammar, verbs cannot directly modify other verbs. You cannot stack two plain form verbs like jama saren and ochi sukeru, where the first describes the second. Verbs only modify nouns. A plain for verb like ochi saren, like jama saren, must be immediately followed by a noun to act as a descriptor relative clause. So, Sakura ni jama saren, ochi sukeru basho ga. So a place where I can't receive bothering from Sakura and I can calm down.
場合にはもっと落ち着いて考え事のできる環境が必要やな。さくらに邪魔されん落ち着ける場所が。邪魔なんてしてないもん。落ち着ける場所が。邪魔なんて
邪魔なんてしてないもん。So something like hindrance or bothering. Doing is not doing that thing. So it's not a thing that the thing of doing something like bothering is not does not exist. In other words, I'm not bothering anyone or I'm not hindering anyone. So jama nante shite nai mon.
必要やな。さくらに邪魔されん落ち着ける場所が。邪魔なんてしてないもん。
Shitoru, which is from shite oru, or basically passive doing. In other words, you are in the process of doing it. So shitoru, you are doing it. So you are bothering.
落ち着ける場所が。邪魔なんてして
So shitoru.
ないもん。してない。
Shite nai. I'm not in the process of it. Or in other words, I'm not doing it. Shite nai.
落ち着ける場所が。邪魔なんてしてないもん。してない。言うたらしとるんや。
Shitoru yutara. Shitorunya. So if I say you're doing it, then you are doing it. Interesting how that translates perfectly into English. Shitoru, yeah. Iutara is a kansai-bin way of conjugating to the conditional tara form. Normally it would be itara, but the u stays and they just add the tara ending to it, so iutara. So shitoru iutara shitorunya.
邪魔なんてしてないもん。してない。言うたらしとるんや。してない。知らない。
もう知らない。Wait.
言うたらしとるんや。してない。
もう知らない。So shiru to know, so I don't know. Like I've had enough of this, so I don't know what to do. So mo shiranai. Wait, translators translating it as forget it. Please explain the grammar of mo shiranai in the concept of an argument, and one person says this and walks away. It's a colloquial Japanese phrase used to terminate an argument. In this context, the phrase functions as an emotional cutoff rather than a literal statement of ignorance. The grammar breaks down as follows. Mo literally means already or anymore, but implies exhaustion or the speaker has reached the limit. In other words, they're already at their limit. So, shiranai, the negative form of to know, while literally meaning I don't know. In an argument, it translates to I don't care or I'm not listening anymore. In other words, I don't know what to do in this argument. In other words, I don't care to continue this argument. When a person says this and walks away, they're conveying, I don't care anymore, suit yourself or I'm done with this. It is a blunt topic ending dismissal used to disengage from a conflict without further explanation. So this is like saying, I don't know what to do with this argument anymore. Yes, that is an accurate interpretation. Mo shiranai is this context expresses emotion. Okay. So saying this while walking away effectively means I'm done dealing with this, whatever. Okay, I don't care. So it is like I don't know what to do with this argument anymore, which in English translates to I'm done with this, and or so on. So mo shiranai.
してないしとる言うたらしとるんやしてない知らないおやすみ
Oyasumi, good night.
おやすみせっかく考えが浮かんだとこやったのにさくらなせっかく
Sekkaku e kangae. So, with much effort, let's see, good thought. Something kanda toko yatta no ni.
おやすみせっかく考えが浮かんだとこや
Ukanda. Ukabu. To float, to be suspended, intransitive. So, good thought. Let's see, good thought was floated. Let's see. I think this is a way of saying had a good thought. In other words, Toko. So they were in a place of having a good thought. The Nyata, they had done being in a place of having a good thought, but in other words, they had a good idea, but and just when I finally come up with a good idea. Oh. Oh, he's saying he now has the good idea. So, please explain the grammar of e kangae, meaning a good idea, okay. Ukanda, past tense of ukabu, meaning to float or to come to mind. Toko, consonant dialect contraction of tokodo, meaning place, point. Okay, yatta, dialect past tense of data, okay, meaning was. Noni, conjunctive particle, okay. So, せっかく考えが浮かぶ、浮かんで、浮かんだ。So, せっかく考えが浮かんだ. A good idea came to me with great effort. In Toko, moment, place is the head noun. Yata connects the modifier to the noun. So the use of Toko and Yata. Okay, concept. Regret. The combination of Sekkaku, valuable effort, opportunity, and Noni, unfavorable outcome, creates a strong sense of frustration or wasted potential. The speakers lamented that they had a good idea, but something happened. They forgot. Okay, so do they still have this idea now, or was the idea lost? The idea was lost or wasted. The speaker no longer has the benefit of that idea in the context of the conversation. Okay, so I think in this case it's all about the idea he forgot. And they're not saying that now that the argument's over. He's not saying that now that the argument's over, he has a good idea but can't say it. So, but let's confirm that. Let's see, in the context of someone having an idea but they forgot it, then an argument occurred in which they can no longer say ideas. Does this still mean the idea continues to be forgotten, or did he remember it but can't say it now that there was an argument? Okay, the phrase implies the idea was lost or wasted, not merely suppressed. In this context, the speaker no longer has the idea available to use regardless of the argument. So, せっかく考えが浮かんだとこやったのに. So, with great effort, I had a great idea, but Sakura no aho, but stupid Sakura or annoying Sakura. Fool Sakura, idiot Sakura, simpleton Sakura. So Sakura no aho.
せっかく考えが浮かんだとこやったのにさくらのアホ。ぐっすり寝たら気分良くなった。
ぐっすり寝たら気分 yoku natta. See, gusuri. So something. See, when I sleep, I become into a state of a good feeling. In other words, I feel good after I sleep. What was that word in the front? Okay, soundly, sleeping, fast asleep, gusuri. Soundly asleep or fast asleep. So, gusuri nattara. Yeah, good. Oh, not na, but nettara. Yeah, gusuri nettara. Kibun yoku natta. So, if I sleep soundly, I became. Wait, but this is past tense. If I sleep soundly, I became good feeling. Kibun. After a good night's sleep, I feel much better. Oh, okay, so they're using the conditional in the past tense, so sort of like how we would use after. So after a good night's sleep, or in other words, if I sleep soundly, I feel much better. I felt much better. So after a good night's sleep, I feel much better. Please explain the grammar of why is the conditional tada being used with this past tense sentence. Complete. Okay, the tada form is built on the past tense ta form of the verb, which functions as a perfected marker. It indicates that the first action, sleeping, was completed before the second state, feeling better, occurred. Temporal versus hypothetical. Unlike ba and nada, which focuses on hypothetical if scenarios, tada translates to when or after. When the result clause is in the past. It describes a specific past event where the speaker experiences a result following a conditioned, unexpected discovery. The structure is commonly used to describe past discoveries or unintended results. The speaker is essentially saying, after I slept soundly, I discovered I felt much better, implying that the improvement was a natural consequence or new realization rather than a planned outcome. So in this sense, I feel much better after sleeping soundly, okay? So, gusuri netara kibun yoku natta.
ぐっすり寝たら気分良くなった。もう怒ってないからケロちゃん出てきて。
See, mo.
ぐっすり寝たら気分良くなった。もう怒ってないから。
Kotenai kara. Something. Kira-chan. Dete. Dete kiten. So. So. So from that first statement, Kira-chan, you can come out now. Akote. Oh yeah, that's right. The sute is just the conjugated in the te form from koru, to get angry, to get mad. So akotenai, so not in the continuous state of being angry. So I'm already not in the continuous state of being. I'm already in the continuous state of not being angry. Or in other words, I'm not angry anymore. So from that you can come out now. So mo okotte nai kara kira-chan dete kiten.
ぐっすり寝たら気分良くなった。もう怒ってないからケロちゃん出てきて。あれ、ケロちゃんどこ？ここやここや。どこ？ここやここや。
Kokoya, kokoya. To be here, to be here. So I'm here, I'm here. Kokoya, kokoya.
どこ？ここやここや。ここやって。
Oh, kokoyate is like the te is short for toiyu, so in other words, I said I'm here. Kokoyate.
ここやって。
So let's confirm that. Explain the grammar of kokoyate and yeah. This had kokoya said for it. And the particle te, okay? It serves as a quotation mark or a softener. It often implies the speaker is quoting something else or reporting what was said, thought, or similar to saying they said or apparently. So, does this mean koko ya toita? Yes, kokoyate is effectively a contracted colloquial version of kokoya toita. Or more precisely, kokoya to iute. Wait, that's ite then. Okay, te, this is Kansai dialect contraction. So in fast casual speech, iute is often shortened just to say te. Okay, so let's see. Why is it ite and not ita? Let's see, ite, it is used to connect clauses or indicate reasons or link to auxiliary verbs like kudasai or shimau. In your context, koko ya te, the te is a contraction of iute or yute, which is a consonant dialect type form of to say. It implies someone said and or simply marks the quotation softly. It connects the quote quote it's here, okay, implied. See, doesn't ite have to connect to something that wasn't said? You're absolutely right to question that. In standard grammar explanations, tag forms like ite is taught as a connector that must link to another verbal clause, said and then. However, in casual spoken Japanese, especially in Kansai dialect, the tag form frequently appears at the very end of a sentence with the rest of the thought implied or omitted. Okay, so that's it. The rest of the thought is being omitted. Okay, so that's why it translates to ite and not ita. When someone says kokoyate, the full thought might be kokoyato iteta. They said it's here, or kokoyato ite ita no de, since, okay. Since they, okay, the speaker cuts off a sentence after te, leaving the consequence or context for the listener to infer. Kokoyate.
どうしたのそんなとこで。思いついて作ったんや。どうしたのそんなとこで。
Doshitano. What happened? Let's see. Sona toko de. So that kind of place. No, to be located in that kind of place. So what happened for you to be there? Okoru okote. Okay. Kokoyate. Kokoya. Let's see what's going on. Why are you there? Yeah, Sonatoko. So that place. There. So used for referencing location. So why are you there? So what happened? Or why are you there? So doshita no sonatoko de
どうしたのそんなとこで。どうやゆうべ思いついて作ったんや。
どうや Well, how is it? ゆうべ思いついてlet's see 思いついて作る yes 作ったゆうべ so last night let's see ついて so attached thought attached thought to make. So last night, what do you think? Last night I thought about making it. Oh yeah, so same, then Yaru not the same night, that night. Wait. Oh, wait, doesn't Doya mean last night? I mean, you bet. So, yeah, you bet, Doya. Oh, this is the wrong kanji for it. I was wondering what's going on. Yeah. You bet or last night. So, Doya, what do you think? Omoi suite from omoi suku. To think of. So, in other words, attached thought or to think of. Oh, this is considered one verb, omoi suku. So, omoi suite. So I think this is Terraform chain is using I thought of it and then I made it. So I thought of the last night I thought of the idea and then I made it. Or omoi suite tsukutan ya tsukuttan ya doya doya yube omoi suite tsukuttan ya.
どうしたのそんなとこで。
Yeah, so last night I thought so what do you think? Last night I thought about it and made it.
どうやゆうべ思いついて作ったんや。一晩で作ったにしてはようできとるやろ。とこでどうやゆうべ思いついて作ったんや。一晩で作ったにしてはようでどうやゆうべ思いついて作ったんや。一晩で作ったにしてはようできとるやろ。で作ったんや。一晩
See, hitaban de skutta. The kanji for ban was something else. Let's see. So hitoban, so number one. So skutta, made. So the best made. Hito, hitoban de. Isn't it normally said as ichiban though? Hitoban de skutta. Skutta ni shite. So did making the best. Shite wa yo yo deki toru. So this is from your way. So make no, that's right. Yo in Kansai Ben is they often use for yoku to mean well. So let's see. Deki toru. That's deki te. That's deki te iru. So able to do was continuously able to do, and then yaro. Let's see. So oh, I was able to do it well, right? Yeah, or yaro. So so as for making it the best, I was able to do it well. Hitoban. Oh, this is not Ban as in Ichiban. This is Ban as in night. Okay. So Hitoban is one night. Okay. Let's see, this kanji gets used in. Yeah, bango or dinner. Yeah, bangohan. Yeah, bangohan. Dinner. What's that other word I'm used to seeing ban in? You got early evening, but ban is more of like later. Anyway, so ban gohan. So hitoban de skutta. So with making it making it in one night. So this day is the delineation or the period of time it was done in. So hitoban skutta ni shite. So as for being able to make it in one night, uh, I was able to make it well. See, the translator says it turned out pretty well for something I made in just one night, don't you think? Yeah. So as for something that I made in, I did in one night, it's in a continuous state of being able to be made well. In other words, it turned out pretty well. So, hitoban de skutta ni shite wa. So, hitoban de skutta ni shite wa yo dekitoru yaro.
どうやゆうべ思いついて作ったんや。一晩で作ったにしてはようできとるやろ。これでちょっとした高級なソファーでも入れて粋な一晩で作ったにしてはようできとるやろ。これでちょっ
これでちょっとした So using this ちょっとした
とした高級なソファーでも入れ
confuse let's see, Kokyu na. So Kokyu, high class, high grade, high quality, high end, luxury. Choto, so a little, slight, minor, trivial. To do a little high quality, I guess is what they're trying to say. これでちょっとした高級高級なソファでも入れて So using this a little high quality sofa, but 入れて so place in it to put in wait
ようできとるやろ。これでちょっとした高級なソファーでも入れて粋なテーブル。
Oh, I入れる to put in. Is this? I wonder if this is supposed to be Haidu, and let's see, Haidu in potential form would be Haidu would be Haireru, which would go to Hairete, and would confuse this dictionary. So please explain the grammar of Chotoshite. This is a fixed expression acting as a non-adjective modifier translated to a little, trifling, or somewhat. To have done a little. Okay. When used before a positive attribute like high class, it softens the description to mean a bit of, so a little high class, basically, or fairly high class, okay, rather than something massive or extreme. Te from the verb ireru, to put in. Could this be hairete from hairu? Let's see, hairete would change the meaning significantly and is likely incorrect in this specific context depending on what you want to say. The choice depends on whether the sofa is moving itself, impossible, or being placed by someone. So irete from ireru, to put something into place. Oh, you are using money or space to place the sofa there. With the money and space, okay. Hairete, intransitive verb, okay. To enter, to go in, to fit. Can enter, fit. Waireru is better. If you're talking about money, you put an item into a budget. A sofa cannot enter a budget by itself. You must use it. If you're talking about space, well, you can say the sofa fits. Sofa ga hairu. Sofa. Okay, the sentence structure demo hairete implies an action. Let's put one in, or we can manage to place one using hairete, which allows the sofa is walking into the room on its own. Okay, and then listening to him talk, he's saying,
ゆうべ思いついて作ったんや。一晩で作ったにしてはようできとるやろ。これでちょっとした高級なソファーでも入れて
Yeah, 入れて。
で作ったにしてはようできとるやろ。これでちょっと
Let's see. Why is the ireru after a demo? The demo in your sentence is not connected to the verb ireru. Instead, it is attached to the sofa. Okay. Demo attached directly to the noun before, not to the... Okay. Meaning even a high-class sofa, or something as grand as a high-class sofa. The demo sets up the sofa as extreme or surprising example. It implies... You might think this amount of money or space is small, but it's enough even for this. Why the verb is just eat it, okay. It's not... So even even a somewhat high class sofa, I was even able to put in a somewhat high class sofa. So using this, I was even able to put in a somewhat high class sofa. Let's see, and the translator would translate this. With this, we could even put in a nice high-end sofa. So これでちょっとした高級 Yeah, this is the same kanji used in Koko, a high school. So tall and then class. So tall rank or class would be high end, okay. 高級。これでちょっとした高級。これでちょっとした高級なソファでも入れて。
どうやゆうべ思いついて作ったんや。一晩で作ったにしてはようできとるやろ。これでちょっとした高級なソファーでも入れて粋なテーブルでも置いたらな。
粋なテーブルでも置いたらな。Let's see. Iki. Check. Okay. Style, purity, essence, pith, cream, elite, choice. So I think he's trying to say stylish table. So, iki na table demo oitara. Not so wait. So when I put in a stylish. Let's see. Even when I'm able to put in a stylish table. So iki na table demo oitara na. Let's see, and at a stylus table, it'd be perfect. Oh, that's right, the previous sentence ended with te. So, oitara, oku, to place. Okay. So, oitara. It says, if I place a stylus table, when I place a stylus table, what this translator said, and add a stylus table would be perfect. Ikina table demo oitara na. So I think this is supposed to be one sentence. So please explain the grammar of. Okay. With this, yeah, okay, choto shita, internet expression meaning a little or somewhat or a bit of. A demo. Here is used to give an example or suggest something among other possibilities. It translates to even or something like a. See, so sofa demo, so a sofa or something like that. Table demo, a table or something like that implies the speaker isn't fixed on exact items, but is suggesting the type of item. これでちょっと高級なソファでも入れて粋なテーブルでも置いたらな。So, so even placing a slightly high-end table, or even putting, or if I put in a no, even placing in a slightly stylish sofa, or even if I put in a table. Okay, so let's see, that is. So if I add a nice height-end sofa or a stylish table to this. Okay, so the table's not in there. He's saying if I add that. And then this demo is just listing the possibilities of what he could add. So if I place in a nice... Wait, but why does he use the verb? So place in a stylish sofa, or if I place in a... Okay, it's placed in a high-end sofa, or if I place in a stylish table. Let's see, with this, if you put in some high-class sofa or something and place a stylish table or something, that's a literal translation. Natural translation, would it be nice if we could put in a decent high-class sofa or set up a stylish table here? Alternative, I wish we could get an... Okay. The use of demo suggests flexibility. It doesn't have to be that specific sofa or table, just something of that caliber. Or not adds a layer of personal desire or seeking agreement from the listener. Is he talking about adding both or one or the other? He is talking about adding both. The sentence structure chains the two actions together as a single cumulative scenario sequence connection. The verb irete is the te form with functions like and connect actions in sequence. It links putting a sofa directly to the next action. Shared connection. Okay. Shared condition. The conditioner tada appears only at the end of the sentence. Oitada. In Japanese grammar, when multiple verbs are chained before a final conditional, the conditional applies to the completion of all preceding actions. Therefore, the logic is if we put in a sofa and then place in a table, okay, the speakers imagine the result of having both items in the room, not choosing one or the other. The particle demo after each noun simply suggests a sofa or something like it, and a table or something like it, given examples, but it does not make the action themselves mutually exclusive. So using this, I can put in a somewhat high-end sofa and see, is this if I put in a high-end table, a high-end sofa and stylish table, or when I put in a high-end sofa and stylish table, is there a third possibility? Is the high-end sofa already in, and they are saying when I put in a stylish table after that, the sentence structures irete oitada confirms that the speaker is imagining a sequence where both actions happen, first putting in the sofa and then placing in the table. Here's the breakdown. If first when It functions as if conditional, but with a nuance of wouldn't it be nice or I wish. The Tada form creates a hypothesis. The speaker is not stating a fact when I do this, but imagining a scenario if we were to do this. Okay, combined with the final particle not expresses a wish or suggestion. It is not a statement of certainty about the future. So is there, okay, no, the grammar strictly links the two actions as a cumulative set. Te form of ide te acts as and chaining the first and second. The conditional oitada applies to the entire chain. Let's see, is the sofa already in? No, the sofa is not already there. Ide te in the te form, meaning to put in, to install. Okay, if the sofa were already there, the sentence would likely start with the sofa is here, so it'd be just adding the table. So kono sofa garu aru. Okay. Why use irete for sofa and oku for tebaru or tebaru so why use irete for sofa and oku for tebaru? The choice of verbs reflects the specific physical action and spatial relationship implied for each furniture. To put in, to bring in, okay. Ireru implies moving a large object into a defined space or area, the room. Y for sofa. A sofa is a large, bulky item that dominates a room. Using ireru suggests the action of transporting it from outside or another room into the current space, effectively installing it within the room's boundaries. It emphasizes the sofa becomes a major part of the room's interior. Tebaru no oku, to place or to set down. Oku implies setting an object on the surface or in a specific spot. So, Y for the table. A table is physically positioned within the available floor space. Oku focuses on the act of settling it into a final position. While you could use ireru for the table, oku is a more natural for furniture that is simply placed or situated rather than brought into a major installation. So it's like saying bringing in the sofa while you're specifically placing the table. I'll have to see if he's like pointing at a location when he says that. No, he's not? Okay.
ちょっとした高級なソファーでも入れて
The speaker visualizes a sequence. First, you bring in the large sofa to fill the room, ireru, then place the table in a suitable spot next to it, oku. The variation avoids repetition and accurately describes the different scales of actions, installing a large item versus positioning a smaller one. So he's saying bringing in the sofa with no particular spot in mind, hence why he uses ireru, and then specifically placing the tebaru in a certain spot, which is why he uses oku. Or to place. So, これでちょっとした高級なソファでも入れて、粋なテーブルでも置いたらな。So, using this, if we bring in a slightly high-end sofa and place a stylish table, oh, it would be good, or don't you think? In other words, we should bring in we should bring in a slightly high-end sofa and place a stylish table, yeah. So これでちょっとした高級なソファでも入れて、粋なテーブルでも置いたらな。
これでちょっとした高級なソファーでも入れて粋なテーブルでも置いたらな。
これ or this. Essentially showing shock for what she's seen before her. So, 質問がありますか? Are there any questions? Let's see who to raid. Oh, konnichiwa, Wild Arms. Genki desu ka? If you have any questions, ask them. We're looking for someone to raid right now. Okay, looking for someone to raid still. Feel free to ask questions during this time. Uh, okay, we're gonna raid Kanade. The first raid. Okay. So for the for the second raid, we're going to go to Entropicus, who's learning Spanish. For the third raid would be we're gonna raid Yarnwich Live, who's playing a golfing game of some type. Minasan, okiyotsukete, mata ashita. Goodbye, everyone. See you tomorrow.